Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, please, no flash photography and no recording devices. This is episode 89 of Those Muckrakers. I'm Pete.
And I'm Pat.
And God, so much is fun. Oh, I'm angry about everything. I'm so angry.
Yes, I know. It's like, okay, so it hasn't been that long since we recorded our last episode because we kind of fell out of sync with recording them on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
But what little has happened has just been the worst. And also, there's like non-international news we have to talk about today.
Oh, nice. Well, we got some local stuff. I don't know if we'll have time to get to that, but we'll try everything. The first thing I wanted to bring up that I'm going to spring on you, in the news, again, police violence.
What? Police violence? In America? Come on, Peter.
Now, I've got two side-by-side stories here. The one of them I'm calling bullshit on. The other one is just like, what the fuck? So we'll start with the one I'm calling bullshit on first. This happened in New York City. It says, Parks police grab and hold and slam an artist to the ground in Washington Square Park. So I already don't like the way they write this because I think there's a lot of real police violence problems. Now in this story, a guy named Oriel Ceballos, he's a locally known painter who sells his art around the city. He's approached by Parks Department officers who, by the way, are real police. They have all the training of cops, and they are able to effect warrants, or what's the word, summonses and arrests just like any cop, right? They just happen to patrol the parks. Okay. So he's exhibiting his art pieces near a lamppost not far from the fountain in Washington Square Park. A tense physical confrontation was captured. He grappled with police officers, and they took him to the ground. He was pepper sprayed. So there are different rules in parks. If you're going to be amplified, like if you're doing performance art, you need a permit. If you're going to do like display art, you have to have it like on a table. You can't have it on the ground, right? There's weird rules. Okay. So he freely admits that he did not have his art on a table, but he says it's like it's a lot like jaywalking. You know, no one cares about it. They only come after you for it. If they're out to get you. So
that just sounds like someone who is upset that they broke the rules and got called out for it. Like, so I don't know. I don't think people like that too terribly serious, unless it would be like a huge inconvenience for him to have a table there.
No, just get a table, asshole. So
yeah, like these are the rules. Just they're simple rules. Follow them. So
here's the thing. It's very iffy if you have to identify yourselves to police. Generally, you should, or if you don't have to, but they're going to book you. You probably won't be held on anything, but self-identification is the thing that you kind of have to do. So the Parks Department officials, they came over to him, and I guess they started saying, you're not in compliance. He repeatedly asked them to call the police, who he said typically leave him alone, and he added he did not want to allow the officers to handcuff him because he felt it was a false arrest and wanted to wait for the NYPD. Well, here's the thing, buddy. These are cops. And, he refused to identify himself and was like, no, I'm not going to be arrested. Dude.
This guy sounds like if not a Trump supporter, like a Trump mind-melded-er, because that's basically what Trump's doing right now with his impeachment, saying, no, I do not accept the validity of this impeachment, so I won't be cooperating, which is, by the way, a genuine constitutional crisis, because he's putting himself above the co-equal branches, but anyway,
well, to top it off, a spokesperson of the Parks Department said that this guy has received multiple summonses and 311 complaints in recent months.
So this wasn't even a first offense?
This wasn't even a first offense.
First non-tabling?
Yeah, so on the day in question, the officers asked him for identification to issue another summons for violating the regulations. He refused to provide identification. And then he resisted arrest and began to choke the officer. So here's the thing. I'm not a fan of the police generally or a police state, but you can't yell, this is a false arrest and I will fight it. Like, that's not how that works.
Yeah, so, I don't know what to say. This guy's clearly in the wrong.
But they wrote it up as like, oh, another case of police violence. Here's the problem.
No, it wasn't.
Here's the problem with that. When you write, and I'm a little bit annoyed because I get a lot of news from the Gothamist.
Fake
and the Gothamist
news.
the Gotham is writing this up, is this poor guy did nothing wrong. Like, dude, you were breaking the law. You had broken it multiple times. They were just going to write you a summons, but you decided to be, he goes, I thought they were going to Eric Garner me, who, by the way, was also breaking the law and resisted arrest, even though they went a little bit above and beyond in that they killed him. So that was fucked up, but it's like, stop resisting arrest. And I know I sound like a fucking right-wing asshole. I'm like, just don't resist. But also, if you're breaking the law, don't resist arrest. Like, yeah. So this is one of those bullshit stories that I feel like muddies the water, because in Texas, meanwhile, police officers were called for a welfare check because a woman's door wasn't open. Or, I'm sorry, a woman's door was ajar, right?
So welfare check meaning that they just want to make sure that this person's okay?
Yeah. So okay. To make sure that the person's okay. I'm trying to find the specific... I'm trying to find the specific part in the article, but basically cops show up, her door's ajar, they see her through the window, and the cop just starts going, show me your hands! And she goes, what? And then he shoots her dead inside her own home.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So, okay, Christ on a cracker. Right, this is the reason why we don't need to write bullshit articles about assholes in a park resisting arrest and attacking police officers. Because at the same time, in real life, sometimes police can do really nutty shit like this, and like you said, it muddies the water. Now, like, one thing gets conflated with the other, so we can throw both of them out if someone's like completely on the cop side, and they'd say, oh, she probably resisted arrest. Like, what?
Well, that's what made me mad about the initial article I read on this. They go, and later on a gun was found in the home. No word whether it was near her. And I go, who the fuck cares if you have a gun in your own home? You have that right, especially in Texas. In Texas, I can walk around my own home juggling fucking handguns. That's my right as a Texan.
I'm pretty sure you can do that outside or like in the Walmart juggling guns in Texas.
Or just on a playground. Yeah. So this officer's already resigning, but this officer needs to go to jail for fucking manslaughter at least. Because this is piss poor training. Like, this is insane that this woman just in her house, and they find out more as the investigators, like, she was playing video games with like her 8-year-old kid, and then somebody's shining a flashlight in her window going, show me your hands. What? Blah 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 blah. So I just bring up those two news stories because there's legitimate police violence. Yes, this is fucked up. But if you're just some fucking asshole on the street who's like, this is an illegitimate arrest, I mean, it's a law, but it's not a big one. Man, fuck you. I hope you get pepper sprayed in the asshole, because you're fucking wasting time and fucking muddying the waters for real decent people who are wrongfully assaulted and killed by police.
Yep.
Now that's the bottom line, because anyway, I just so mad about that fucking...
That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Yeah, so
that's what you were going for.
Fucking police violence, like... Because there's so much legitimate violence. Like, why are you wasting ink on, like, this dude was an asshole who had broken multiple laws and was in the process of breaking one again, and he's like, I felt threatened. Well, you should, because you broke the law and you fought the cops. You never heard the fucking, how's the song go? I fought the law and the law won? Yeah, asshole.
It's not, I fought the law and it worked out fine. I fought the law and I'm doing fine.
That would be like if I was like, yeah, I was peeing outside, but like, yeah, it's not really a big deal unless the cops want to be assholes about it. Well, it is a law.
I mean, robbing the bank's not a big deal unless the police show up with their guns and demands that I stop.
All that money is insured anyway. Yeah, fucking... But yeah, also I got a real thing in New York against fucking street artists, because these fucking semi-homeless assholes are just... I think I got to get out of New York is what I'm saying.
Yep, fucking street artists. They're going to get you arrested. They're going to get everyone arrested.
Hey, you want to buy some shitty paintings I found in a dumpster? No, leave me alone. Stop
Peter's
talking to me.
Peter's walking through a park, and a street artist like runs up behind him and starts painting on his back. Your art now, you're not on a table. Then the police show up and arrest you. Because your art that's not on a table, and you're like, ah, damn it.
This might have been one time I actually just helped the cops beat the shit out of a guy. I don't know. Like, this is illegitimate. I'm just like kicking him. Yeah. I'm like, well, how does it feel now?
Well, legitimate Nikes against your throat.
Yeah. But yeah, so fucking, there's real problems out there, and I hate it when any time is wasted on, and someone goes, they got him in a legal chokehold. And that's the hard thing, is like, yeah, you shouldn't put people in chokeholds because it's easy for them to die. But also, if you're a cop and you're trying to effect an arrest, what are you going to do? Tickle them?
Yeah, so, I mean, there's not very many grapples that are both easy and effective.
Yeah.
And like the chokehold is the sleeper hold in particular is like a really easy one to apply if you know what you're doing. It's easy to replicate even at a moment's notice. So that's a good thing to bring down someone without having to, shoot them.
I'm a big fan of, I think we need to start putting money into like sleeping dart technology.
Yeah, let's do that.
If we could really get that going so that it doesn't kill you, it just makes you like, oh no, Thorazine or whatever, like that would be awesome, right? Like, it just puts you take a nap and you wake up in jail and then less problems.
Let's go with that. Just work on even better non-lethal solutions to bringing people down, and we'll be good to go.
There was some foam that I read about when I was a kid.
That sounds awful. You just suddenly you're blah, and now you can't move.
Yeah, in like Popular Science, and it's like you could just carry it in a fire extinguisher as a cop and to be like, stop or I'll foam you. And then they're just like, I'm caught in this foam. I think that would be fun, right? Maybe maybe like a net gun, right? Can't we fire a net out of a t-shirt cannon?
Well, the problem with net guns is that they have to have like really heavy shit at the end to wrap around the person, and those heavy shit would, if it hits the person, would just be like stoning them to death because it would stone them to death.
No easy solutions. I get it. No silver bullets here. That's why the name of the podcast is These Muckrakers and not The Silver Bullet.
Yep, we are the one bullet to rule them all. One bullet to find them. But we can't fire it at sitting members of Congress because that's against our one rule.
So that's something I want to address today. So if you didn't see it, Trump, I guess at his resort, showed another one of these dumb, shitty videos somebody made where they put Trump's face on a character from a movie, like John Wick or some shit, and then all the people that he's shooting, they just put like CNN logos and stuff on them. Yeah.
New York Times. And...
Yeah, they did that today with, I guess it was might have been a scene from The Kingsman. I haven't seen it. So one guy is just like gunning down like just all these people trying to kill him in a church. So they put Trump's face on it, and then they put all these different people and like Black Lives Matter and like CNN. And so he's just basically Trump going on a rampage through a church, just murdering all of his foes. And I guess he liked it because that's how he sees himself. And I said, all right. Can we lift the ban on us being able to threaten the life of a sitting president since he seems to be able to do it to other people?
I mean, turnabout is fair game, and what's good for the goose is good for the gander, but at the same time, King Trump is above the law, so of course he can just keep getting away with this shit.
Well, I guess we have to do what Trump does. We got to outsource
folks.
The threats. We got to outsource the threats to Wesley.
Yes, let's have Wesley threaten the sitting president, and then that way he'll get arrested and not us.
And we can create a little distance between ourselves and the threats. And be like, well, we didn't ever explicitly, if Wesley wants to threaten the president on his own, we can't be held accountable for his actions.
What, Wesley? He was just a coffee boy. We don't know a Wesley. We hardly even knew him.
So, speaking of the coffee boy, man, do we want to get into all the... let's get into the local news. I forgot all about that. Yeah, our alma mater.
So, okay, up to this point, y'all have known that I'm in Georgia somewhere and that Peter's in New York, but I've got to get really specific and say that I'm actually broadcasting from Statesboro, Georgia, because Statesboro's in the news lately, and I kind of want to... reverse brag about this town, which is now trending, number one news story on CNN online for like a day there, was Georgia Southern University's book burning extravaganza.
Now let me tell you a little bit of my history with Georgia Southern University. When I was going to my to get my 4-year degree, I had a choice between a Georgia Southern or Armstrong Atlantic State University. And I looked at all the people that went to Georgia Southern, and I heard all their hillbilly woo-hoo! And I'm like, don't want none of that shit. It's just a bunch of like middle to like middle upper class like fucking farm kids go to this dumbass college and just drink for 4 years and somehow come out the other end with a degree, right?
Yeah, well, about 10% of them do, yeah. Most of them just sort of get wiped out at the first midterm snow.
Nice. Anyway, I fucking hated it. I didn't want to go there. So I went to Armstrong. Well. Guess what college absorbed Armstrong and turned my college into one of their satellite campuses? If you guessed GSU, you'd be fucking correct.
Yeah. So, I was talking to some other students. Like, I'm an alumnus of GSU.
Well,
and I was
you may ask yourself, well, Pete, why does that matter? You didn't go to GSU. Well, whenever I have to turn in my transcripts to any kind of job or anything like that, guess who I have to put on my transcripts? Guess who I have to call for my transcripts?
Armstrong/GSU?
No, GSU. Armstrong does not exist anymore.
Oh, it's not even okay. So yeah, you are now a GSU alumnus too.
It would be
One
like
of us, one of
it would be
us.
like saying like it would be like if I went to the like Weatherby's University of Phrenology, you know, the old thing of like where you could tell if somebody was a criminal by the bumps on their head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a thing that exists anymore.
That
So,
I figured
fuck.
it was gonna be like Activision and Blizzard whenever they fused into Activision Blizzard, or SquareSoft and Enix whenever they became or fuck, what am I saying? Anyway, two different companies. Companies merged. They combined their names. I was hoping GSU did that
No, they just ate
with
my
Armstrong.
so they ate my college and then had a book burning. So now I'm like, oh, fantastic. Now I get to be associated with this because this monster keeps growing.
Was Enix just Enix by itself? That's what threw me off. It's like I want to call it Square Enix, but Square Enix is what it's called now that it's merged. Anyway, that's not important.
It's not. What is important is the books that were burned and the reason that the books were burned.
Before you get to that, I just wanted to say I was talking to some other GSU students about this, and see, in the past, we always have been annoyed whenever we say we're from GSU, and someone's like, "You mean Georgia State?" And we're always like, "No, no, no, Georgia Southern." We're not gonna correct them anymore. When they're like, "You mean Georgia State?" We're gonna be like, "Yeah, yeah, that's the one."
Is
The
there-
one that's
yeah.
not well known for burning books.
Yeah, the one that's known for being the top tier college in the state of Georgia. Yes, I would say I went to Georgia State. That would be my yeah.
Oh, Georgia State, my high. Okay, so tell us about the story, Pete.
So God, I don't have the details. Do you remember the author's name that came and gave the speech at Georgia Southern?
I've heard the story, but you said that you wanted to like save it and surprise me with it.
Damn it! I link you to the story.
So I never wrote down any notes about it.
You bastard. I just want to get the names right for this. All right, let's go to CNN right there. All right. Because I can tell you the gist, but I don't remember the author's name. Oh, nice. They used a barbecue grill for the burning. How very Southern.
Yeah.
So Jenny Capo Crusette visited campus in Statesboro on Wednesday to discuss her 2015 novel, Make Your Home Among Strangers, which students were assigned to read for their first year, their first year experience course. So I guess they have those like, hey man, they make you take that bullshit course like, this is college, this is how you study, this is what your experiences are like.
Fun fact, I actually got out of ever having a first year experience class because like the year that I went to college was the last year that they didn't have that. So every semester after that, all the new students are having to do this first year experience, which is a total waste of time. But I don't know, I just sort of dodged the bullet and got to skip that useless shit. But anyway.
So basically, she's Cuban American, or in her novel examines a Cuban American girl who is caught between two worlds: her life as a first generation minority student at an elite university, and her family in Miami, which is dealing with immigration issues. So basically, it's about being Latino or Latinx in a predominantly white space, and like, your heritage, and like, moving forward and being that first generation kid. There's a lot on your shoulders, right? So the students were immediately hostile with the question. Many white students questioned whether she had the authority to address issues of race and white privilege on campus. So they accused her of generalizing about the majority of white people being privileged. And they say,
No.
I'm going to put this in my best Georgia Southern voice. What makes you believe it's okay to come to a college campus like this when we're supposed to be promoting diversity on this campus, which is what we're taught? I don't understand what the purpose of this was, said the student.
Yeah, so it's not incorrect to say that some white people have white privilege. All white people have white privilege in America. Some of y'all may not feel it as well as others, especially if you're very poor or have just gotten the shit into the stick your whole life. But it's like Pete and I have spoken about in the past. When we were coming up on the mean streets of Glenville, we were getting harassed and pulled over by the cops all the time because Peter drove around in an unmarked windowless white van. So we were always getting pulled over and searched and all that. And also, I mean, whenever we were teenagers, they tended to just target us whenever we were walking down the road or anything, because that's suspicious. Because we'd travel in big herds of teens, and that looks bad. But here's the thing: in all of those pullovers, and all of those stops, and all of those check-ins by the police, we were never arrested. We were never shot. Nothing bad ever happened to us. It's like
they never
Pete pointed
even.
out.
Go ahead.
It's just like Peter said. It's like, it was really bad how the police treated us, but just think about how much worse it would have been for us if we were black.
Yeah.
And that's where white privilege comes in. It protected us from getting thrown in the slammer, from possibly getting killed by the police.
So it got so bad that later that night, she had to change hotels because she saw a bunch of videos on social media of students burning her books. They had a book burning on campus. So, now, here comes the problem. The university does not plan on taking any action because book burning was within their First Amendment rights. But, however, book burning does not align with Georgia Southern's values. You know what? I'm going to say your First Amendment right protects you from the government. It does not protect you from violating the University's Code of Conduct, which, without having in front of me, I can almost 100% guarantee that you did violate the University's Code of Conduct by burning the book of a visiting author.
Yeah, also, the books that they burned, a lot of them were borrowed books and not books that they owned, so they're destroying property whenever they burned them.
Yep. So, all I can say is, like, to every... I don't want to be mean to everybody that went to Georgia Southern, because I guess technically now I did too. But to all these people...
A lot of students are deeply embarrassed about these students.
As you should be!
Other white students look at this and go, oh, God... Just to be clear, that is going on. We see our fellow whites and we're like, oh, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? You're just making it worse.
I just want to say to all these students, you are the reason I did not want to go to Georgia Southern. You are the reason I am deeply embarrassed that Georgia Southern turned my college into one of their satellite campuses. And to the the university spokeswoman, the presiding people in charge of Georgia Southern, you know what? I don't even know how to say this, but I didn't know that when you became part of a college board, one of the things that you gave up was your integrity and also your testicles.
Yep.
You bunch. Oh, and your spinal cord. You bunch of spineless.
We call it the Paul Ryan treatment.
Yeah, you bunch of spineless, racist, enabling half-wits. What a way to we'll walk the line here and not upset anybody by just saying we respect their right to burn books, but it certainly isn't the way we feel. Well, how does that thing go? What do you call somebody sitting at a table with 10 Nazis? A Nazi. Yeah. So
yeah,
fuck
what do you
them.
What do you call one person who is not a Nazi that sits down at a table with 9 Nazis? You call it a table of 10 Nazis.
Yeah. What do you call a fucking somebody that also I'm fine with the discourse of arguing about white privilege. I think that's important. What I don't understand is to be so deeply offended that you go out and burn a book about a Latin person existing in white spaces. I guess what I urge Georgia Southern students to do is to go find every copy of Mein Kampf you can get your hands on and burn that outside Georgia Southern and see what happens. I bet you there would be academic suspensions.
Probably, because it falls more in lines with Georgia Southern's values, Mein Kampf, that is.
Yeah. Mein Kampf University. Formerly Georgia Southern University. But yeah, it's fucked up. And I don't I'm torn because I don't want the students to be like, run out of the university, because I don't know if they'd learn a lesson. But I sure as fuck don't want them to just go around and burn books by visiting authors with impunity. That is definitely not in line with your university code of conduct.
Yep.
And then to film it! How stupid can you be? What am I talking about? They're going to fail out anyway. Most of them are probably going to go to beauty school or fucking I went to a 2-year thing, now I fix trucks. Which, I mean, fixing trucks is a noble profession, but they'll be the oil change guy at Jiffy Lube in a year. Yeah, so I guess it'll work itself out.
I fixed trucks until they found out I wasn't reliable enough for that. Now they don't let me do nothing. I got to inflate the tires.
Now I burn Fords in my front yard. How dare they fire me? How dare they fire me?
Freedom of speech, burn Ford, Chevy.
I mean, I'm like I said, I'm willing to listen and have like a debate and like a discourse on like the idea of white privilege and like why some people. Also, how dumb can you be to be like, how am I privileged? You're in a college, asshole, in America. You are like the top 1% of the 1% in the world, motherfucker.
Yeah, so they're going to college. They have room and board paid for them by their parents, so they don't have
And
any
also by the
bills to
state.
pay.
Georgia does a lot of like fucking paying your way through college. And we'll give Georgia that. Like the Hope Scholarship, or at least the way it was when I went to schools, they were like, hey man, you're not rich. How would you like to go to college as long as you're not an idiot and flunking classes? And I went, that sounds mighty fine to me. And so I did that. So, that was nice.
It was, except it doesn't pay for grad school, so now I'm still on the books for that. But getting it paid down,
fucking
2 or 3 more years, and I'll actually be debt free.
You have connections at school. You should hunt each one of these people down, and then we can just say their names on the podcast and be like, "These are the assholes," and this is a little bit about their lives.
Read them off. Read them off like Arya Stark's list.
I don't want anything to happen to them. I just want them to be deeply ashamed. Like, I imagine that woman in that famous picture of, like, the Arkansas, like, the Little Rock Nine, when, like, they were just trying to go to, like, the same school as white people, and there's that great photo of this lady just venomously yelling at a child. I go, man, I hope her grandkids are like, Grandma, what the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, it was a different time, and, look at that, I gotta go. Look at the time.
Well, look at the time. It's time to talk about the Ukraine.
Yep, so let's talk about fucking Ukraine. Oh my god, this shit's heating up. So they've made a prediction in the impeachment, the impending impeachment of Donald Trump, who, by the way, man, if he doesn't get impeached, I go back and forth, but I'll be kind of surprised if nothing happens.
So, oh my god, there's a lot to unpack.
Well, the thing is,
episode.
he's gonna roll Giuliani under that bus so hard. I think Giuliani's gonna do.
Sure. We're currently not sure if Giuliani is still even his lawyer or not, and apparently Trump doesn't know either. Two of Giuliani's associates just got arrested.
Yeah,
and Giuliani is lawyered up like a motherfucker.
The two weird Ukrainian guys had one-way tickets out of the country and are now in jail. It's so deep. I make a prediction. I think Giuliani's going to do jail time.
Oh yeah, like he is. If he wasn't Trump's lawyer, he would already be in jail. Oh, he's also like the former, America's mayor of New York during 9/11. So that's probably also kind of protecting him. But at the same time, he's probably going down.
No, because New Yorkers don't like him either. New Yorkers recognize him full on as an asshole.
Right, but as long as the rest of, like the Bible Belt don't quite get that.
Yeah, but that belt's shrinking, so I'm not too worried about that. But also, they're not in charge of whether he goes to jail or not. We don't put it to a vote.
Sadly, we kind of do because we put it to a vote, Trump gets to stay out of jail. We really do need most of Americans to be behind his impeachment to be able to remove that tumor from office.
We have all the what do you call it?
Yeah, all the polls are showing that the majority is now in favor of him being removed. Which brings me to a fun fact for today. A recent Fox News poll said that Trump 51% of Americans are in favor of seeing Trump not only impeached, but also removed from office. A Fox News poll. Now, non-biased polls have him at 58% in favor of his removal, but that's still close.
That's
Fox
bad
News is still
when,
saying the majority. When,
Fox News, the Kim Jong, the North Korea of news networks is just
state media.
Yeah, state media is like, 51% want him gone. We edged it down a little bit, but goddamn, Donald, we can't do everything for you.
Yeah, but guess what happened after that poll came out?
Someone showed him a fake poll where it said that 95% of Americans are behind him or something like that, right?
That happened before then.
Oh, yeah, someone's just showing him cartoon polls and they go, Mr. President, look at this. If you look at the red crayon...
That was a Breitbart poll, by the way. They just did on the Breitbart website, which is Bannon's website, if you don't know. It's a conspiracy theory site. There's zero real news or anything there.
Well, that's
right-wing insanity.
I'm sure if Hitler took a poll of his fucking, what do you call it, SS Corps about his support, that he'd be like...
How he's doing.
Yeah, this is nice. It looks like I have a 95% approval rating for what I'm doing. Yeah, because, you just asked the SS. You didn't ask the rest of Germany. but I guess I'll see myself to the gas chamber now.
Yeah, so after Trump saw the poll, said 51% wanted him removed, he got so furious that he sent his personal defense attorney, Attorney General William Barr, over to Fox News to talk to Rupert Murdoch in person.
What is that gonna do? Like, dude,
It actually has done something. Shepard Smith was fired because of that. After they met, Shepard Smith was fired after 23 years of working on Fox News.
But Shep Smith's actually going to miss the building falling on him because I think he was already kind of setting himself up as not like a Sean. Sean Hannity's fucking all in. I think Shep Smith was already getting ready to fold that table, so he'll find work. But I don't know about the rest of the Fox News anchors.
Fucking Jeanine Pirro and Lumpy Hannity, they have a new idea of what they need to do now, of what Mitch McConnell should be doing to defend Trump, which is now, you know how whenever
is it putting a gun in every Republican senator's mouth while asking them a series of questions and loyalty oaths?
It's some word doctoring and some spin. Basically, you know how whenever it's something in the Constitution that they like, they're all like, "It's my constitutional right."
Yeah.
Well, what happens when it's something that they don't like? They do not refer to it as the Constitution. They just say, "Well, that's the rules as they exist right now. They're just the rules. They can be changed." So Mitch McConnell needs to change the rules so that he's not required to hold impeachment.
I don't even know if he has that power. Maybe,
No.
but because like the problem is like
the House would need to ratify it, and
and that'll never. Such an obvious ploy like that will never happen. I think I don't know which way Mitch is going to go. I don't know if he's a Russian asset or if he's just an asshole.
He's very likely Moscow Mitch, like the propaganda said.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know which way he's going to go. But honestly, right now for Russia, the best thing to happen to the United States would be to have the pres and vice president like go through an impeachment. Like that would be a huge national blow to us.
Yeah. So I mean, I think they need to just go ahead and have this guy removed. I mean, of course, I think he should be removed, but I think even for the Republicans, what they need to do is remove him right now so they can go ahead and start hyping up Mike Pence and running him in 2020.
But I wonder if
I doubt he can win, but that's their best shot.
No, I think if they remove him and ran Romney in 2020, Romney might fucking take the election and they'd have the White House again.
Well, I guess that's not impossible because Romney was sort of kind of against Trump.
Also, Romney's kind of a Christian, which is what they like. You know what I mean? Like, he's a Mormon, but like kind of Christian. Yeah. But I think Romney is just like smooth enough for everyone to swallow after a president's removed that we'd be like, fine, fucking let's loosen up our jaw muscles and fucking take that Romney dick because damn, this can't be any worse.
Good old R money will.
But literally, the president is refusing to cooperate with an impeachment inquiry, calling it illegitimate, which is what a dictator would do. That's terrifying.
Yeah, that's a constitutional crisis actually unfolding right there. This is no longer a possible constitutional crisis. We are having a constitutional crisis.
What I don't get is that Congress keeps trying to play this game of chicken with Trump, but they're playing a game of chicken with an insane man. You need to go ahead and activate your congressional powers and start, arresting more people and forcing subpoenas and stuff, because he will drive the car straight into your car. He does not care. He has no concept. He's got nothing to lose. Yeah, exactly.
He has no concept whatsoever that anything bad could ever happen to him.
It's like
he feels like if he yells enough that everything will work out. Because guess what? So far, he has yelled enough that everything's worked out for him.
It's like playing Russian roulette with a toddler. He doesn't understand the rules. He has no fear.
Yeah.
That's. I'm trying to remember what actor it was. I loved it. They said something about playing. Would you be interested in playing Donald Trump in a movie or something like that? Would that be an interesting character? And he had this really great thing. He goes, "No," he says, "There's no depth to this guy at all. There's nothing. Like all he thinks about is cheeseburgers and like I don't give a shit about anybody but me. Maybe Melania will give me a blowjob tonight. That's literally his whole thought process." And I'm like he's like just completely devoid of any depth or foreshadowing or like any of that. It's just on to the next thing.
That's why he's willing to betray tens of thousands of Kurds. And, see women and children slaughtered in the streets just to distract from his own impeachment.
I don't know why the Kurds don't just join ISIS because like every other president we're like, I tell the Kurdish people, I say, rise up, fight the enemies of America, and America will support you. And then they're like, all right, we're fighting the enemies of America. What do we do? And we go, oh man, shit. Yeah, I was drunk when I said that. Y'all on your fucking own. Because we had them rise up, hoping they'd fix Saddam for us. It didn't. He used chemical weapons and killed them then. We're using them to fight ISIS. And then we pulled out and let the Turks kill them. And just every time the Kurds are we're they're doing a really good job kind of stabilizing the region, we go, fuck them. But here's the thing about it. The best thing to happen for Trump right now would be if ISIS just made a huge resurgence. Oh, it would be the best. If he could get another 9/11, he'd be beaten off like on camera.
Yeah.
Like if he got to make that speech where he's like, the enemies of America have attacked us, like you would just kind of see his hand going up and down off camera.
I just don't know about this because him defeating ISIS is one of the right wing's favorite talking points, which is not true at all. Just Fox News stopped trying to scare people with ISIS for so long.
Look at the George Bush approval ratings after 9/11. Like no president has had those approval ratings since Pearl Harbor.
If ISIS was able to wage an attack on American soil, then yeah, that would definitely help out Trump. When Americans die, the Republicans win.
If ISIS was able to mail a letter over here, you know what I mean? Like the dude would shoot up to 80% approval ratings. So why the fuck would he? This is a great decision for him. Even though Lindsey Graham's on TV going, "I beg you, Mr. President, I beseech you, do not do this." Like this is a great move for him.
Yeah, it's when
I'm sure he's
suffer, Republicans win.
I'm sure he's working on the fucking technology right now to reanimate fucking what's his name?
Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, just like because they like buried him at sea or whatever. I just imagine like he's funding a deep dive operation, just like find the body, reanimate it. I want it brought back.
Okay, folks, we have just been informed that the aquatic reanimated zombie of Osama bin Laden is headed here to America, and only I can defeat him, and that's why I need everyone to give me all of your votes so that I can become Aquaman and defeat zombie bin Laden.
The only thing to stop zombie ISIS is me. This summer, one man, Donald Trump, takes on all the zombies. Like, yeah, that's the fucking world he lives in, so...
The only thing that can defeat a bad terrorist with a gun is a good terrorist with a gun. Bigly.
Think about, just keep your eye on what the Navy's doing, because I'm sure they're going to be like, that's going to be their next thing. But yeah, so he's gone real far down the impeachment road, but he's not going to... What's funny, the best thing about it is the ambassador to the Ukraine, I can't remember her name, it was like Yankovic or something.
Mary Yovanovitch.
Anyway, so they fired her unjustly from that position, and then they were like, the State Department was like, you can't testify. And I go, why the fuck wouldn't she? You already fired her. Like, I would be...
The White House told her, do not testify before...
Why?
These impeachment inquiries, and she did it anyway because they actually don't have the ability to enforce penalties against her.
But they're also doing it backwards. It's like if the mafia burns down your shop and goes, hey, listen, it would be a real shame if you didn't pay us some protection money. If you go to the police, something bad, but you already burned down my house. Like, they're like the dumb mafia. Like, they kill your family first and they go, hey, it'd be a real shame if something happened to your family if you go...
You have a real beautiful wife and daughter there. It'd be a shame if something happened to them, like the 2 bullets I just put in them. So maybe you should, give us some money. And I'm like, no, I'm going straight to the cops now.
Yeah, why would people be loyal to you after you already fucked them over?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you show people fake polls.
Because Trump's really dumb. He's used to just being able to do bullshit with impunity and get away with it, because so far that's been working out for him, and as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So she said, so a bunch of people that are out that they're like, don't testify or testifying.
Today, someone else, God, I forgot who it was. But there is someone else testifying today. And by the way, Congress is back in session tomorrow, isn't it? This is their last holiday because they took 2 weeks off. And tomorrow they're going to be back. So then impeachment's going to heat up again because this will be the last time they're in session before 2020.
Well, also, the Republican Party has been complaining that in previous impeachment hearings that the minority party has been given more rights than they're being given right now. And I went, fuck you. You can't be victim and oppressor at the same time. You control one and almost a half of 3 branches of government. You don't get to be like, how come the House isn't giving us? Because you control the Senate and the presidency, you fucking jackasses.
Yeah, they're still the majority party right now.
That would be like if I was on trial for murder and I'm like, hey, so I'm on trial for murder. How come I don't get a few minutes alone with the witnesses with a gun? You know,
I That's actually kind of something that Trump wants. That's why he keeps saying, "I've not been given the right to see my accusers.
Yeah,
I
you
should know
get-
who they are. You should just
Yeah.
tell me who they are." And it's like, well, first of all, this is not a criminal trial. This is
Yeah, that's the other-
Congress and a congressional investigation. So that's not at all how impeachment works. And also, the Dems know that you want to kill this person because you have already said that you want to see them dead.
and you also made a video of you killing everybody that you don't like. Well,
Yeah.
I guess not technically made, but supported when someone else made it. Yeah, like, so why, Jesus Christ, man, like, this is insane. Can we just not have a president for maybe like 4 years for a while till things cool down?
I would be up for that.
Can we
Fuck
just
it.
leave? Can we just leave that one blank? I'd be okay with that. Like, this year, 2020, we're gonna give it a rest. Like, no one gets that office. We're just gonna kind of like shut the doors, clean the carpets, let things air out, and we'll try again in 2024.
You know something that's been bothering me lately, just speaking of the presidency.
Fucking everything, because that's what's been bothering me.
Right now, the person who's number one in the polls is Elizabeth Warren, and nobody's really talking about her. They're still talking about Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden.
Yeah.
I watched recently like a bunch of different SNL sketches. The majority of the dialogue came from Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, impressionists.
Yeah.
Like Elizabeth Warren, whenever she talks, always just sort of mentions a couple things about her fundraisers. Like, that's the joke. It's like, oh, I received 25 cents from Margaret in Minnesota and $1.20 from so-and-so. And it's like, okay, I get the gag, but we really need to see a lot more of Elizabeth Warren here.
No, we don't.
You don't think so? Because I feel like she is being strangulated by people just not paying her enough attention.
No, I think it's great because you don't want the front runner to draw heat too early. So you want Trump to go after
know.
Biden, and you want people to yell about Bernie, and you want the opposition to completely spend all their time and resources like painting Biden and Bernie as like the death of America. And then when fucking what's her name wins, they go, fuck, we spent all our time talking shit about the wrong guy.
I mean, that is sort of what's going on. Like, Trump's spending all this time in the Ukraine trying to get dirt on Joe Biden and ignoring Elizabeth Warren, which, was it Warren or Bernie? It was Bernie that Stephen Colbert was talking to, saying, so are you at all upset that Trump was not trying to get dirt on you in the Ukraine? But I digress. The point I'm getting to here is that Trump was able to be the loudest voice in a very crowded room and win the nomination by getting, was it $2 billion or $2 trillion worth of free advertising? $2 billion.
Remember,
probably,
we haven't
worth of free advertisement because everyone was talking about him.
Right. But
right now, Warren does not benefit from that.
Right, but we haven't gotten into it proper yet. You know what I mean? Like, we're not.
We're like 2 months away from the voting beginning.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's good, because here's the thing. Here's what I want, and this is why Elizabeth
Maybe
Warren...
3. Is it January or February? February is when the first one goes out, right? So 3 months.
So. Yeah, so we got 3 months. I think because all the big stuff is... The reason Biden is because of all the dumb shit that Trump did. Here's why Warren is my homeboy, right? She's what America needs. She's quiet. She's not flashy, which is why I'm worried about her not winning the general election, because she's like an even-keeled shopkeep. You know what I mean?
She is.
Like... The presidency has almost turned into
she is incredibly smart, by the way. Like, I've followed her for a long time.
That's what I mean by
she's been my favorite to win the presidency for 6 years now.
And
since I first discovered her in like some interview she did, and like from that point on, I just started following her on Twitter, looking at other interviews, and I've just sort of been behind her for a long time.
I'm not calling her a shopkeep as an insult. I'm calling her that as like, if you look at countries, and I'm basing a lot of this on like kings and emperors, but the times that countries generally did the best with like a very powerful one-person office was when that person wasn't necessarily amazing or flashy, but that person was really good at minding the store and balancing the books and making sure the treasury was full and making reasonable treaties. That person. That's who we fucking need right now. We don't need another America's Got Talent where they're like, this next guy up for nomination, juggles knives while his wife gives him a blowjob while his dog eats his asshole.
Speaking of America's Got Talent, and speaking of Trump and all this insanity, guess who is still on America's Got Talent right now?
Who?
Sean Spicer.
Is he?
Yeah, Spicy's a dancer.
Oh no, he's on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, is that it? That's the one. I don't watch. I actually don't watch any of these shows. So
I was actually okay with Spicy for a little while until he made that dumb message where he's like, "Come on, America, vote for me and show how persecution of Christians will not be tolerated." Like he's running on the I won't win Dancing with the Stars because I'm a Christian.
Oh my God.
Or something like that. I'm like, go back in the bushes, you fucking has-been asshole. I was okay with you.
I forgot that was a thing. Sean Spicy used to hide in the bushes when people looked for him and wanted to talk to him. Can you believe that after Hucka Sanders left, they still do not have a press secretary?
No, they shut down the press corps because they got tired of answering questions.
Yeah, of course. Why the fuck would they?
Yeah.
Want to be and yet they still try to say, "Oh, we're so transparent." No, you don't. No, you're not. You don't talk to the press.
If I was the press corps, and that's the job I need to apply for, if I was the Sean Spicer, the Sarah Sanders, man, I'm going out every time with a distraction prop. You know what I mean? Maybe one day I'll turn around in a maniacal chair petting a hairless cat being like, hello, with maybe a fake scar, and then people are asking me questions about that and they forget about the issues. Or maybe I come out in a clown outfit and I'm like, boop, 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 boop,
I'm juggling, folks.
Juggling
handguns because we're in Texas.
Maybe I pass out just tinfoil hats to the press corps and I'm like, trust me, you're going to want to wear these. And I never explain why.
Oh my God, you just show up with gas masks. You're like, everyone, you need to put these on immediately. And then stand up before them and say, okay, first question. They're like, what about the gas mask? I'm not taking any personal questions. No.
And then just fucking leave. Yeah. But yeah, fucking, of course, because they realize that they can't just lie their way out of ridiculous stuff, because also fucking Trump would just contradict the lies that he had them tell.
That too. They would lie, and a second later Trump would say the dead opposite. So I mean, the communication amongst the White House has never been good, but
I'm sure there was communication, but the man can't keep his mouth shut, which I'm surprised he's lived this long, being in bed with so many mobsters and shady figures. I'm so amazed that he's not just missing in the 80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just man, what happened to Jimmy Hoffa and Donald Trump? And then every time somebody's opening up their old storage locker, they go, "Ha! I found Donald Trump in here." The guy can't shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Oh, he did used to be smarter in the 80s. He probably knew how to shut up back then.
And
but dementia ate his brain up.
His dementia has made him forget all the mafia secrets that he once knew, which is what keeps him safe.
I have a really good brain.
He's just listen, tell me all your secrets, because I've got degenerative early onset dementia. Trust me, everything you tell me, I'll lose. It'll all be gone. So,
like an Etch-a-Sketch.
So, yeah, it's going forward. You have a president that refuses to comply with impeachment, which doesn't matter. You don't have to comply. It's happening, buddy. So really, the only thing left for him at a certain point will be to just go, "I'm not leaving. I'm president for life. I made it so." And then we have to see if Congress blinks or not. If he just dismisses Congress and tells them all to go home, will they do it?
I mean, probably just because they're a bunch of lazy bastards that love to take off and not do any work most of the time. So, yeah. Yeah,
if he just shuts the doors and goes, "Congress is closed," will they do it? Will they be like, "Well, I guess we don't have jobs anymore"?
Nah, I figured they would still get their paychecks. They just wouldn't have to work.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't have to govern. Basically, college. Congress is closed. Goodbye.
The weakest link. Goodbye. Yeah, no, I mean, fuck. They have no spines. They won't do anything good for the American people unless their arm's twisted. Yeah, no, I think they would just take off. Then again, what if taking off upsets their wealthy benefactors that need more regulations removed so that they can make more profit at the expense of nature and human lives?
You know what I'm going to say, and I'm trying to figure out how to do this without spoilers. I just watched El Camino today.
Oh, don't spoil that. I haven't seen it yet.
The fantastic ending to Breaking Bad. And all I'm saying is I'm going to do an El Camino, I think. I think that's it's kind of my game plan. I've been real stressed in my life. News is upsetting. I think
You're going to do a car.
I'm just gonna do, and I'm gonna pull an El Camino. Watch the show to find out. It's so good. But yeah, fucking ugh. Do we want to do a Dear Wesley to end on a high note?
We should. We haven't done a Dear Wesley in the whole episode, actually.
I've got actually two Dear Wesleys here.
Are we going to do both a normal Wesley and a dark Wesley response?
We can do Dark Wesley. The question is, do you want to hear an earth-shaking revelation about a new reality for a family, or do you want to hear about a man is unsure how to initiate romance with a new coworker?
I like the new reality for a family. That sounds very interesting. Like, what kind of new reality?
All right, well, listen up to find out. So, this is the Dear Wesley. Earth-shaking revelation creates a sudden new reality for family. Dear Wesley, I was happily married with 3 daughters until I found out I had fathered a son 2 years before I married my wife. The news was a shock to us all. That information was kept from me for 13 years, and my wife is having a hard time dealing with the situation because we were dating at the time it happened. I've been trying to do the right thing and involve my son in my life. My wife was all for it, but every now and then something triggers her emotions, and she goes off. The bitch. She throws the word divorce at me when she's upset. Like, honey, you okay? Divorce! I don't want to have to go through this every couple of months. I love my wife and family dearly. I want to reiterate this did not happen during our marriage. My son is 13. This is not his fault. The mother said she didn't tell me at the time she was afraid since I was involved with someone else. Later on, when she started asking questions, she told him she had no idea how to get in touch with me. No one knows what is going on right now except my wife. I haven't even told my daughters or the rest of my family. Any advice would be a blessing, Wesley. We are a Christian family.
So is it like, honey, could you pass the potatoes? Divorce! I'll get them myself then.
Well, number one, I don't like the way in this one, he kind of blames his wife, you know?
Yeah, like, he is the cheater, and okay, here's what I want to know. How much time has passed since she learned about the extra kid he sired? Because if it's, like, been a week, her still being upset about it is understandable. If it's been, like, 4 years, then maybe she should start considering either getting over it or actually divorce him. Like, shit or get off the pot. Figure out what you want to do.
Well,
don't ride the fence.
He doesn't want to have to go through this every couple of months. Well, buddy, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, she probably didn't want to have to go through this ever. So let me go ahead and throw that out there. Let me go ahead and tell you, pump the brakes right now. You're in the wrong. I don't care if you reiterate, oh, no, it only happened when we were dating, not during our marriage. Well, cheating's
no,
cheating.
You still cheated on her. Like, I was about to say, it was 2 years before you were married, but y'all were dating at the time. That's still cheating.
That's probably what she's upset about. Like, yeah, the kid's a big deal. It's not your fault that the lady didn't tell you, but it kind of is your fault because you were dating someone. So you cheated, and then you never told her, and now the only reason it came out is because you have to explain a 13-year-old son. So you're kind of the asshole in this one, and you're all like, I want her to stop being upset. Well, I don't know, man. Keep your dick out of other people, I would say. Yeah, I think my opinion, you need to go to marriage counseling first and foremost. You need to have a sit down with the whole family and the kid and all the other kids, and everybody needs to know everything on the table, because most importantly in all this, I think, is the kids and then the wife's feelings. The guy's feelings in this actually are a distant, like, fourth after everyone else's, I think.
At this point, I agree with you, he's clearly in the wrong, so he's just going to have to take this one on the chin and his focus needs to be helping everyone else get through this. If his wife is this upset with him, he needs to start figuring out what he could possibly do to help her feel better so that she doesn't feel the need to have to lash out like that.
Because it's like a 1-2 punch. You're like, I cheated on you and I have a kid. Like, bam, bam, what? Like, yeah. Of course she's going to be upset.
Cheated on you and I have a kid and I don't like your attitude about what I just told you.
Yeah. Oh, he's very Ray Romano about it, you know? Like, oh, what? I had a kid 13. Oh, what's the deal, Deborah? Ah! Like, you're an asshole.
So sorry, Debbie. I mean, Bridget. These are my confessions.
Yeah, that's the problem. You're an asshole, and you haven't fully come to terms with what you did wrong yet. Because you're like, I reiterate, it was not during the sanctity of marriage. It was during the relationship, which I reiterate.
I consider that to be just as sacred as marriage,
yeah.
In my opinion. Because look, I'm honestly not someone that believes in marriage that much. I will still do it, but just to make everything nice and official, but at the same time, like, I don't see a big separation between marriage and dating. If make a declaration, we are a steady couple, then that's as sacred to me as marriage.
I also love how he's like, we are a Christian family. Then I'm like, all right, then you should be scourged with a cat of nine tails. What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah. Then I don't know. You should die and she'll marry your brother.
Yeah, do some penance. I don't know. Fuck, you need to be out in the desert for 40 days with no food. Fucking, what do you want with that? You know what I mean? Maybe you should beg her forgiveness. You know, like Jesus Christ. Like, damn. You know who didn't have any illegitimate kids he didn't tell his wife about? Jesus.
Yep.
Although, to be fair, if you want to go old school with it, when Abraham cheated on his wife, the offending woman and child were cast out into the desert to fend for themselves. So,
I'm a Christian. That should be like what Dark Wesley says is, well, if you're a Christian man, what you need to do is track down your mistress and your son and send them out into the desert to die. Oh.
Yeah. Fucking like, because you broke God's covenant, and God does nothing if not punish people who didn't do anything wrong.
And remember, whenever you walk away from your house, your wife can't turn around or you're going to have to burn her into a pillar of salt.
Oh. Maybe if you build a big boat in 40 days during a flood, then you just lock the door and don't let your illegitimate lady and son on the boat and then put 2 of every animal. That's pretty much it.
You know, I've always pictured Wesley being tapped to be like the next Noah. How that plays out is, well, first of all, mankind's about to go extinct. Wesley would never build the boat, whether he had God's help, whether he had years and years to work on it, he would never get started. And as 2 of every animal starts to show up, he would eat the tasty ones and just like shoo off the rest. It's like, oh, goddamn dogs, get off my property. Oh, fucking giraffes. No, stop eating the big leaves. Those are mine.
I love the idea of just Wesley thwarting all of God's plans. Like, you know, God's like, Wesley, you must go testify to, who was it that they wanted to send Jonah? The Assyrians. Go bring the word of God. God damn it, I don't want to go to Assyria. So Wesley gets eaten by a whale, and he's like, you know what, I could make this all, I could make some pizza bites over here in the whale's stomach, and I could just live off the plankton. This is not so bad. God damn it, Dylan, this is my whale. Get out of here.
God's all like, now, Wesley, I told you 5 years ago that you need to get started on the boat. Why haven't you started on it yet? Oh, but you know, listen here, God, you're pressuring me. I haven't had enough time to get started on it yet. No, you're pressuring me, so you need to just lay off. Come back in 10 years. No,
Wesley is the Messiah, is the kind of guy that, like, you know, when Jesus was praying in the Garden of Gethsemane and, like, you know, Judas got like 30 pieces of silver, betray him, like, Wesley wanders off, so they show up with Judas. They're like, where the fuck is this Jesus guy or this Wesley guy? I swear to God, he was right here. Judas, we're gonna kill you, you liar.
And, you know, during the crucifixion, there was, like, 1 million angels in the sky ready to fly down and, like, wipe out the Romans and save Jesus if he asked for it. Yeah. But instead, he's like, no, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And so the angels didn't kill anyone. Well, Wesley up there on the cross would be like, yeah, no, that sounds pretty good. These people are assholes. They keep sticking me with the lance of Longinus. Kill them.
Make me some pizza bread while you're at it.
I need a whole chorus of angels to play me that one song from that show I like. God
damn it, Dylan, stop poking me with the spear.
Wesley, fix my Nintendo. Fix it yourself.
So, I think if it was Wesley Christ, he'd have some Old Testament wisdom for you.
Some fire and brimstone.
Although a lot of the Old Testament stuff does sound like a ridiculous plan that Wesley would say, like when what was it, in Jericho, when like they had to walk around the wall like 7 times. Like that sounds like, well, Wesley, how do we get into this city? Well, what you gotta do is get some Mrs. Dash and walk around the wall 7 times, and then it'll just fall down, and you can go in and kill everyone.
Well, here's what you're going to do. I'm going to play my trumpet really loud, by which is a euphemism for I'm going to fart. And then I'm going to walk around the wall several times to waft it around. And then it'll drift into the city and they'll smell it and go, oh. And then the wall will fall down.
So Old Testament Wesley, I think, you go with them. What you do, buddy, you build an ark, and during a flood, just don't invite your illegitimate son and mistress on the ark. Problem solved.
Wesley would probably like try to make Dylan build the ark for him. I don't want to do it, Dylan. You do it. I don't want to do it, fat ass. You shut up, you dill hole.
He'd make you build it.
Me? Oh no! If Wesley had God's power, yeah, he probably would.
You're gonna build an ark. Well, I guess I don't know. That's most of our time. Is there anything else we needed to cover?
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess we could hit him with the socials, Pete.
And you know I don't remember them.
I know. That's like our shtick now.
Bastard.
So I guess you're gonna toss it back to me.
Yes, Pat. Socials, please.
All right, socials. So you can contact us at thosemuckrakers@gmail.com. Send us your own Dear Wesley stories, and we can talk about how Wesley would cause the apocalypse in your timeline. If you would like to tweet at us, you can do so at Those Muckrakers on Twitter. I have not been checking that a lot lately, but I mean, no one's been tweeting at us, so it's whatever.
Fair enough.
What else? If you would like to support this podcast, go and buy our books. Dusk Belt? Is that it?
Yep.
It's been so long.
Still the
Yes,
same.
book one, Give Me Back My Life. It's a book about a guy that comes home one day to find an exact copy of himself living his life, and he decides he wants it back or not. Find out what happens. So then what else? Now, if you're thinking, oh, well, I bought that book, so surely you have my money yet. Actually, no, because we only make like $1 off of every book sold, and they don't pay out until we make at least $100. So I'm going to need for you to buy like 100 books so that we can get some of that fat cash to pour back into this show and make it a better experience for you. But for real, buy like one book and we'll be happy.